So my name is Bruce Wolcott. I'm an instructor in communication studies, and I also my major role right now is working as faculty lead at the Bellevue College XR Lab. So my role in the XR Lab has really been to acquaint faculty and students with the use of XR technologies for teaching and learning. I would say that's our primary focus at the lab. And so hopefully we're getting better at that every year. We've been going for we'll be entering our 8th year, and so we've experimented with a wide variety of apps and headgear and different approaches to teaching, and that's who I am and my current role. So we have several different approaches that have worked in different disciplines that have worked well. I think one of the things that we found out is XR doesn't fit every type of circumstance and every discipline equally, but there's some standout disciplines that work well with XR. One of them being interior design. Uh, it's kind of a hand in glove type situation where we have an interior design program. What the VR enables us to do is have students take what has been a flat screen experience and actually have them walk through the place that they designed. And so you can see where the light is falling in the room. You can see how where the doorways are. You can see where the furniture might be placed, and you get a better spatial sense of an interior design situation that you can in a flat screen. So that's one. Another one is nursing. We work with a nursing program here, and we have a really innovative instructor who is really focused on using a nursing care program called Simex to simulate a patient care situation in a room with a patient and possibly parents and visitors. And they basically go through a series of drills, different medical emergencies. I think in a lot of cases, it's just a matter of faculty wanting to expose their students to virtual reality experiences. Uh, One of the areas where we get a lot of attention is the ESL programs, where students are coming in learning English, wanting to become acquainted with technologies and those kinds of things. And so the VR experience provides them the ability to understand some technical terms and become acquainted with things like artificial intelligence and immersion and augmented versus immersive reality and all those kinds of things. Yeah, first of all, I just want to thank you for the opportunity to work with Zoe. Special thanks goes out to Sil, who's one of the primary movers and shakers of Zoe, and he very generously gave me lots of time and advice and support as I was working through my project. So a big high five to Sil. I really appreciate his help. And so after thinking about it, I've taught classes in communications classes, and somebody who I think has a lot of really valuable ideas is his name is Saul Werman. He describes himself as an information architect, and he just to make a long story short, Saul Werman wrote a lot of books for tour guide books to big cities like Paris, London, Los Angeles, Bangkok. And how do you take a very complex subject like a city and make it available and accessible to ordinary people who are going to visit it? How do you make the city available to them? How do you design information so that they can do that? And that's Saul Werman. That's his approach. And so he had this idea called Latch, which is location, alphabet, timeline, category, hierarchy. And he basically said, you can take any complex topic and you can use one or more of those strategies for making the complex simple. And the hierarchy, I just had 3 buildings of different heights, tall, medium, and short, and those were all available within the assets library of Zoe. And I was able, as I had them line up, from high to tall to short, the 3 buildings. And once they succeeded with that, I had some confetti that came up and they could successfully accomplish that. And then I did the same with timeline. I did the same with location. I did the same with alphabetical organization, and uh, had different experiences that were lined up. I'll just give you an example of one more. There was a huge, gigantic globe, which is one of the assets in the Zoe library. And I had different cities that would be positioned within the globe. And then when people pushed the button, it showed the location of major cities in North America and in Mexico. So that was another example. So all of them had interactive experiences that demonstrated each of those portions of the Latch model. I think there's, first of all, up until recently, it's been too complex for faculty to build their own virtual worlds. In fact, just getting faculty involved, period, with virtual worlds and what the benefits are has been challenging. But the value of this is that it's moving in the direction where um, anybody can build a virtual world and can invite students in to participate and maybe add to a virtual world and have tools that are simple to use and that are are fun to use. And so the benefits of where I see the niche that I see where I see Zoe is that it's taking a very complex process, which is building a virtual world, and traditionally you've had to do that using code, and simplifying it to the point where anyone with a just a basic interest in a computer can build their own virtual world and virtual environment. And there is a lot of value in building something and then having a result that's tangible. Yeah, that's a key question, isn't it? Um, so just as an example of that, I've just in the past week I've been talking with a woman who is setting up a lab in a community college in Oregon, and it's called the Fusion Lab because they are looking at virtual reality, or XR, I guess is the encompassing, the extended reality technologies, and artificial intelligence. So that's what the fusion is the fusion between AI and heads and the XR technologies. And so that was her question, is how do we get this started? And she's already made the first steps, which if you're within an institution, it's important to make a case for the value of XR. We can point to good examples of other schools that have used XR, and but that step of getting the buy-in administratively is really important. You can't take beyond step one without that active courage, administrative courage, to take a chance on it. And of course, when we started, we didn't have any use cases that we could rely on. We had to really make a case ground up, and then you can start small with just one head. We started with two headsets, and we were within the e-learning center and a single space to work in. And then we expanded, and now we've got a large classroom. We have studio spaces. We have a foyer where people can come in, and it's a large space, but it grew over time. And then we received a National Science Foundation grant about a year and a half, and that's enabled us to expand our network and to expand um, our building space, our XR lab space. We have a classroom that's equipped with a bunch of computers now, but we couldn't have done that at the very beginning. It really was a matter of making a case for ourselves.